You Still Here? The show where Lucas and I talk about whatever we feel like until we're told to go home by everyone. Today's episode, our first episode, we're going to be talking about the death of physical media and how sad that makes two bitter old men like the two of us. But before we get there, let's introduce ourselves formally. Sir?
Well, I'm Lucas. If you frequented the channel for a long time, you already know me, but you also know me by another name. But we decided, Brandon and I've known him for a little under 2 years now. We've been working together at the same place. And a common denominator between him and I is that we don't stop talking. It got to a point where a coworker of ours recommended that we do a podcast because we're just going to talk about movies anyway. We might as well do it. And it was like, oh, haha, yeah. And then, we said it as a joke, and then eventually it became... Here's the thing. We talked so much that it wasn't even a joke to anybody but us. They're like, yeah, that sounds great. Do the podcast. Oh, I could so see Brandon on the podcast. It's not like he's working anyway. He's always talking. So...
It's true.
And, we also, the two of us, are known for not shutting the fuck up. So one thing that we're frequently told at work is we're done with the shift, it's done with the side work, it's time to go home. But for some reason, we're still talking. We're still there. We could be enjoying all the social media, all the physical media that we're talking about, and
bitch, isn't it?
we're just choosing to talk about it versus enjoying it. And Brandon, being the genius that he is, came up with the name, Why Are You Still Here? When I was at work the other night, finishing my side work, I'm done. I'm clocked out. And I'm just talking.
I know all about that.
And then the coworker says, Why are you still here? And then the camera cuts and pans over to me. It goes, do-do-do-do-do-do. And I point to it. And I'm like, this is why Brandon said, why are you still here?
Yeah, I hear it all the time.
Yep.
All the time. And as soon as it came to me, I don't want for it because I came up with just as many terrible names as well. But as soon as it came to me, I was like, oh my God, I hope Lucas is okay with this because I am married to this name now. And then I came up with the just the general feel of the logo and whatnot as well, which is right there behind Mr. Lucas's head there. And I'm like, that's it, right there.
It just works.
And we never stop talking, and people have to come in and tell us to shut up and say, why are you still here? Go home. And yeah, so that's where it all came from.
Physical media is something that we've kind of bonded over. We're considered crusty old men. A lot of the people they hire there are maybe between like 18 and 22, and unfortunately we're really kissing 30 at this point. It's sad to say. Our hairline and teeth and everything are just not what they used to be.
I'm 29, and when you work in the restaurant industry, you're basically past your prime at that point.
Yeah, we're expired goods. It's sad.
Yeah.
And something that gets brought up from time to time is going to be electronics and media. And in passing, it seems that we don't have any similar opinions to anybody because we're enthusiasts. So what that means is the death of physical media. Yes, it is dying. It's on its way out. It's sort of a fact. Something that actually sparked this entire conversation is somebody who's 24 that we work with. He doesn't even want physical games in his collection anymore. And that's really, it's only a few years difference from us. It doesn't sound like a lot, but with the way technology advanced so hard in the mid-2000s, there's a big generational gap here. You have people who have grown up only knowing a life with Snapchat and Twitter and Facebook and what have you. We had a whole life before MySpace. So a lot of these people, it all gets tied together. Movies have become part of like this ecosystem with music and video games and whatnot. I don't know. I went on a tangent. I didn't like it. And then we're gonna have a, and then we're gonna go to the next part. So, what do you think?
Sure. That sounds good.
Generational gap here.
I'm Brandon. I'm a Virgo. I like long walks on the beach and campfires. And that's it. I wish I had more prepared there, but much like Lucas, I mean, he covered everything. You charismatic son of a bitch. You got pretty much.
I can be. I tend to be.
Yeah, you know, I feel very much the same about physical media. It's you know, it's been with me my entire life, you know, and still is. We will insert some photos of our, you know, collections in here as well. Yep, you can see some of it there.
Just a small portion. Lucas.
Yep, and yeah, so both of our collections are very similar, and you know, in size, and you know, we're just all about it. We can't see another way to it, so to speak, and yeah, we work with several people that are younger than us, and unfortunately, they do not hold physical media in the same regard as us.
I mean, but, just almost everybody in general, too. I mean, it really boils down to the convenience factor. If you're not a movie guy, I don't see a reason to have a big collection, I guess. Because, I don't know, let's think about it. What is something that we have interest in that we don't take too far that other people do?
Phones? I mean,
in what way?
For me, probably phones. I mean, a lot of people go far with, you know, they have to have the newest iPhone the second it comes out.
We work in a fucking restaurant, and for some reason everybody needs the incremental yearly iPhone upgrade.
Yeah, or even every 6 months with like the, you know, 15S Plus or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm not that much of an idiot, guys. I know we're on the 12, but yeah, like whenever a new model comes out, whatever, they could be like, it's the same phone, but now it's purple.
Oh, so you're saying the like an upgrade? Oh, fuck you.
Anything.
You mean like an upgrade from Blu-ray to 4K, where I have been like almost chastised by friends and family for my obsession with 4K, and they can't even see a fucking difference? Are we looking at the same picture?
Yeah, it's a night and day difference.
Yes, it is.
Which you know, it makes it, you know, it makes it even more unfortunate.
Something that I've never thought twice about, and I just have continued to do it the way I prefer to, and I know other people don't, is ebooks and books. I have never even considered making a video or having a talking point with you about the death of paper, because I just don't care. Now, I'm gonna continue to buy books that I enjoy, like the 20,000 editions of Harry Potter that I'm gonna eventually die with. Those I have to have in paper form. But for books that I care less about, I actually don't think I'd want to buy them. I think if it's something
that's interesting.
I think it's something that if I know that I'm gonna have an attachment to, I want the paper so I can feel it and hold it and look at it and have it on my shelf. But if it's something I'm gonna read like maybe once or twice, or like if I want like the Kindle versions of Harry Potter or Lemony Snicket, I'm not gonna rebuy those books again. If I want a knock around version, I'm gonna read them on my iOS devices. You know what I mean? I actually don't care. I really don't.
That's interesting, and I think that we have found officially what a future episode is going to be about.
Okay.
Because I am in the exact opposite corner. I've never read anything on a device. The only books I have are actual physical books.
Okay.
And I never never, not one single time in my life have I read something on like a Nook or a tablet or you name it. I don't personally see the appeal of it. It's for me to read, and again, I'm a nostalgic person.
Exactly.
We talk about that from time to time, and it's a big reason that I feel so strongly about physical media like I do. I like feeling the pages. I like feeling, as stupid as it sounds, like the weight of the book. I've been reading it for the last 2 years, and it's a very heavy book. And it's almost like like you have to go through that. You have to trudge through that.
Okay.
All that mud and stuff to really flourish. The experience.
I tend to do that with a lot of things. I tend to latch onto one thing and then just abuse the fuck out of it, and then just I don't know, like I don't know. Let's get out the book that I have right here, where I'm like a quarter of the way through the Half-Blood Prince, and I like holding it. This is my original copy that I've had since 2006. 2005? No, 2005, I think this is when Half-Blood Prince came out. Because I got it when I was in the Cancun, Mexico flood hurricane thing of 2005. Was it Hurricane Emily? I was there when that happened.
I don't know.
It's 2005. So I've had this copy for, it's fucked up. I don't know. This is recent too, and I'm really mad about it.
What the hell did you do to that?
I don't know.
Lucas?
I don't know what the fuck happened. I picked it up.
Okay.
And this is recent. This is like when I started reading it again. So I was very upset when I saw it. But
this is why you have to have physical books there, sir, because a fancy iOS device is not going to be able to withstand your fluids that for some reason are flying
I really
which
like
way.
Harry Potter. Okay, guys, I really do. Like more than a person should be allowed to. So
True.
That's my same copy that I've had for 16 years at this point, and when I thought that it was gone, because there was a point where it was it got moved out of the basement. It was at like my dad's house or some shit at the time, and I thought they were gone because I hadn't seen them in a long time. It was all 7 of the books. It was all of the Lemony Snicket books too. I don't know if I ever told you about this. They were all in like a tote, and I thought they were gone for like 3 years, and I was so fucking sad. I didn't even try to replace them because it didn't have the same value to me. Like the I know what each dust jacket looks like. I know what each imperfection. I've had these books for almost 20 fucking years. So it's like I'm very attached to that set, and I didn't want to replace it, and I thought, I guess I could read it on the fucking iPad or some shit, or buy like the cheap paperback version like you have to knock around and read, but it's an attachment. I get attached to that copy, and that's what I want in my collection. And this might be a good segue to the physical media. Again, remember when I brought up that Austin Powers thing and how I'm hoarding this empty DVD case that means absolutely fucking nothing? Actually, I don't think it's empty. Let me look.
I mean,
so how much of this is just nostalgia? No, it's got the disc in there. I lied.
oh, okay. Yeah, that's good. One thing I was going to mention as well, and then we can move on from books.
Shit, yeah.
But it goes on with the nostalgia factor as well, and that's the smell. There is nothing that compares to the smell of a book. It doesn't matter if it's old or new. Obviously, the older it is, the more strong. I was going to say putrid, but I really enjoy the smell. And it's the smell that you get when you walk into like a Barnes and Noble.
Do people even know what a fucking Barnes and Noble or Walden Books was? Walden Books, that's
around.
An old.
Barnes and Noble is still around. Walden Books and Borders is long gone. But Barnes and Noble you can still go to, and
But isn't Barnes and Noble
you
more
get
of like
that
a
smell.
hobby and like knickknack stuff, like pop figures? Haven't they like tried to transition to keep alive? Because I haven't
A
been to a Barnes and
little.
Noble and I don't know. Like and Borders in Walden hasn't existed in 10
Yeah,
years.
I would suggest for you to stop in at one soon. We work right by one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I don't know. There's nothing like it in my opinion. It's still mostly books. It's 90% books.
Oh, well, that's nice. So it's not an
There's
FYE
a
situation.
no. There's a tiny little section that has like puzzles and pop figures in it.
Right.
But it's tiny section. Speaking of tiny sections, to transition, we need to talk about what's going on at Best Buy. Because
Oh, good lord.
that is the big reason that Lucas and I decided to do this.
That's what
podcast.
sparked this whole debacle, so to speak.
Yep, because there is the guy we work with. Oh my God, what did I say? Siri's coming up. That's fine. Leave that in. Who cares? People will understand. It's relatable.
This is gonna be edited to shit anyway.
I had
So
no idea what I said, but Siri responded. And now I just said her name, and she didn't respond. So
you said
that's
something
cool.
about this guy at work, and it wasn't me.
It's weird. So we work with somebody. You know, Lucas mentioned that earlier. His name is Jake.
Oh, I
Shout
wasn't
out to Jake.
gonna say anybody's names yet.
You know, I think it's fine. We're not throwing him under the bus or anything, and I think that he would be fine with it. But you know, so yeah, he is just of a younger that, and he feels very differently about physical media. He thinks it's useless, but so that was a part of it, and then the other big part of it as well was Best Buy. So I walk into Best Buy one day.
And just to set a scene for you guys, we go to 2 different Best Buys consistently.
Yeah.
That is an important factor. So continue.
It's important. The Best Buy that Lucas goes to is a little bit behind the times. I'll get to why that is in a second, but I mean that in a good way. So you'll see. But I walk into Best Buy. I, make a beeline basically to the back corner. That logo is going to be the death of us. Anyway.
Yeah, I gotta set my
doing
screensaver
funky
settings.
But that's fine. Whatever. The show is rough.
Yeah, this is
we'll
the
work
rough.
it out
This
in
is the
time.
rough
It's fine.
draft.
Yeah, it's a rough draft. It's more so like a rough draft that's written in crayon by a child. Anyway, so I make a beeline to the back of the store, and I'm like, what happened here? Just to let you guys know, it was like from 1 week to the next, it went from being an entire huge, gigantic, sprawling section of the store that had like 20 shelves that were filled with Blu-rays, DVDs, 4K Blu-rays, UHD. And a week later, it's 2 shelves. It's 2 shelves. That's it. And we'll put a picture right here of my Best Buy location, and it's so sad because, I took 2 pictures while I was there, and it's heartbreaking to see because there's all this space that's not even being utilized. They would rather have these 2 shelves just sitting there in the middle of this gigantic space and just leave the rest of the space unutilized. That's what they would rather do. They, for some reason, feel that physical media is on the way out to such a level that they only have 2 shelves. I wish I could say that better, but I'm passionate about this subject, baby. I once I get going, I start making 0 cents.
Yes,
And,
me too. All the time.
It's it's just really it's heartbreaking, truly, to go from, this huge sprawling section of physical media down to basically nothing. And it's not like they replaced it with anything. If they replaced it with something, then I would go, well, at least they're still using the space for this or that or whatever. But they're not. They'd rather just
it's just empty.
Have nothing there.
It's empty floor space, and a lot of this has to do with the transition from the old times to the pandemic bullshit. A lot of that spurred this, not having things on the floor because the store wasn't open, to keep it in the warehouse for curbside, and then it's obviously cheaper to not have as many employees, to not be putting this on the floor, to not keep opening and have store displays and setups. The companies have profited so fucking much from this pandemic, and that's why there's not as many DVDs. It's cutting shipping costs, so that way they don't ship it to the store, they can ship it to your house if you want it. And that's only if you want it. And you're going to go through the trouble if you're a collector, if you're stubborn, or if you're just older. It's become an enthusiast thing, so keeping it off the floor is probably saving the money in the long run, because who's going to care but us? And who's going to buy at the end of the day from them anyway? It's us, so they don't give a fuck. But I have to say, if you just go, I don't know, do a Google search, I guess for all intents and purposes, I'll do it myself and edit it and put it in here. Just type in Best Buy 2009. Like, just look around at something like the movie section would be immense. It would be absolutely, it would be at least a quarter of the store.
It was huge, and the thing that I saw
the amount
slowly,
of genres as well. I remember Best Buy not being as good as Suncoast and FYE as far as like more niche items and stuff. Because at least like at Suncoast, I remember if you wanted something they didn't have it, they would order it for you and like ship it to the store. I've had a few experiences with that, like way back when. I don't know if you have, because I was a Suncoast went before it shut down, was basically the only place I would buy movies at back in the day.
That's interesting. No, I don't have that same experience. I didn't, specifically stick to really one location. But what I was going to say is something that I have seen steadily die out over time, and for some reason I cared less about it. Now I care more about it, are CDs. And if there's anybody out there in the audience that doesn't know what a CD is, I'm sorry. But it was a circular disc. It looked like a DVD, right? And it had music on it. And I'm not even explaining this to be a dick or to be funny.
I was wondering in my head, I didn't want to cut you off, but I was really, like, is he being serious right now?
I'm being serious. A lot of people don't know what a CD is anymore.
No,
I'm serious.
That's not possible.
They know what a record is.
Because it's
records
popular
are
again.
on the way back.
Yeah.
There are people that don't know what CDs are. And it's because they have no experience with them.
You know what? I guess maybe you're right, because think about like when we got our first cars. What was one thing that everyone wanted in their car? Was a CD player. Yeah. Because we all would just when we were younger, obviously at this point, we didn't have not even part-time jobs at that point. This is pre-16. You know what I mean? You didn't have money, okay? You fucking had, you got 2 games a year, and then you sold your backlog to GameStop for a fucking nickel, and you made nothing. Like, this is that time period. Yeah. This is LimeWire we're talking about. Yeah.
Side note to everybody out there.
Yeah, so this is definitely, we're much more frivolous. Anyway, back then, you went on LimeWire, you downloaded a song that included 20 viruses that took you 3 hours to download, that ruined your Windows 98 computer. Yeah. And you burned the CD to put in your car. It also
put you on the FBI's most wanted list as well. So that was cool.
It was a total... And I remember when I was in high school and I wanted to get my car, because iPods and iPhones were just starting to take off when we were driving. So an auxiliary port was something that you got in a luxury car, if it even existed, you know, at that time. And then even the cassette tapes that have the auxiliary port, that didn't become popular until we were like on our way out of high school. So CDs were, they were a huge thing. I remember that's what I said. If I got a car, it has to have a CD player. What else am I going to do? Listen to fucking AM or FM? It's trash. It was trash now when it's trash back then. And in retrospect, it makes me sound like a spoiled prick, but my 98 Grand Dam did have the CD player.
Very good.
I went on a really hard tangent. Yes, CDs. Thank you.
Yes. Well, you know, yes, we are in a period of time now where CDs aren't really needed anymore. And I fear that is where we're going to be headed for movies. But, and this is a big but, my friend.
Ooh.
That's what she said. But we're idiots. We're completed. You'll find out soon enough if you haven't already. But I think that there is an argument to be had, a case to be made, that, you know, digital music and digital movies are not on the same level. And there are a multitude of reasons for this. And, you know, just to give everybody a little background information, Lucas and I did notes. We both made our notes. We did our homework assignment. And I don't know if that was the next thing on the list. You know what's funny?
Yours or mine?
It is. It actually is.
On your list?
We're knocking these bad boys out. Cool. I literally only have one more bullet point after this.
Cool.
But because that was a good transition, I think. Mm-hmm. But they're not created equal. You know, digital music is fine.
Well, it's
a small file.
That's exactly where I was going. It boils down to logistics, just what it is. You got a 4 megabyte to 12 megabyte audio file versus potentially a 1080p and up movie at like 30 gigabytes. So I guess at this point, you're streaming both of them. I don't have my music stored anywhere. It's all on Apple Music now.
Oh, really? I have mine on Apple Music as well. But I have them downloaded onto my iPhone.
You can do that?
And the only reason I'm sorry?
I didn't know you could do that, actually.
Yeah, just go and...
So this basically negates the entire point I had to using older iTunes on an older Mac. Because I guess why would you want to do that when you have a subscription to Apple Music? Which costs like
$5 a month. If you go into like your music there, and yes, I have Avril Lavigne.
Who cares?
Don't judge me. She I don't even know why I just said she.
So where do you go to listen now?
You press on this just the download button. It's like an arrow that's pointed downwards.
Yeah, where is it?
Right here.
Oh, on like my music list.
You just press that. Like mine are all down. Don't have anything to press. But I'm trying to see here if I do have something on here that isn't. And I did this for a very specific reason. And that is that I didn't want to be using data.
Yeah.
Listening to music.
Oh, I have some Avril Lavigne recommended to me, Brandon. I guess we listen to similar music.
Oh, good.
How cute.
Good. That's perfect.
You know what? I love that. I love that. I don't even... that you unashamedly have Avril Lavigne, but mind is
course I do.
suggesting Avril Lavigne to me. This, guys, this goes to show that we are the perfect duo to have this conversation of this stuff with. He's a little bit older than me, but we're so close in age and interests that it's like it's perfect for this.
We're basically the same person,
Yeah.
except he is at a healthy weight and I am not.
Well,
don't
remember,
judge me, anybody. Anyway, so
I was a big boy too, and Brandon, we both have a Switch. I told you the games to play.
Yes, I know. The Switch Fit or whatever. I see it
Ring Fit
when
Adventure.
I go to the store. Ring, that's right. Ring
and
Fitness.
fitness boxing.
Yeah, I see it when I go to the store and I go, yeah.
That's what the
And I
son of a
walk
bitch
away.
did.
Exactly. But yeah. But I take walks to any commenters out there that might want to weigh in on this subject.
Was that a double entendre? We're gonna weigh in.
Oh, no, I'm not that smart. I like that though. But I completely lost my train of thought.
You were talking about physical media.
No shit. No, right before that. Oh, we're basically the same person, though. I mean, we get our hair cut by the same guy. No shit.
When you put this all on paper, it's
disturbing.
You know what's gonna happen is all
very similar.
Go on. I'm sorry. Go on.
You're fine. We have very similar interests. We're born in the same month. We basically are just separated at birth, except I'm 2 years older. But it's very strange. We have the same job, work at the same place. Basically have the same position at work. Here's the deal, folks. I'm gonna lay something on you that sounds like it's a lie, but it's not, I assure you. Look it up on Google. Do your research. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to Lucas. Do your own research. When you stream 4K video on Netflix, on Vudu, on Movies Anywhere, it doesn't matter where you're streaming it. Guess what? That is not even as good as a Blu-ray.
Oh my god. You know what? Keep talking.
Yes.
I'm listening. I'm just gonna get a visual. Okay. I'm gonna give the audience a visual representation of exactly what you're talking about right now.
Sounds good. So, I used to think it was a little. I knew that it wasn't true 4K, but I thought that it was at least as good as a Blu-ray, and I was corrected by somebody online, actually, on YouTube of all places, and they said, no, streaming 4K is not even as good as 1080p.
Yeah, it's sub 720. It's sub 720p.
Yeah.
So
it's around in that area. So now imagine what streaming 1080p looks like. I mean, we're talking like DVD quality here, and a lot of people don't know that because we live in a generation where people don't buy physical media as much anymore unless you're old men. You know what I mean? But yes.
And you're stuck in your ways. And this is the quality thing is very important to someone like me. I, as an enthusiast, as a 4K adopter and pusher man of this technology, of potentially the last physical format, that could be a whole episode in and of itself of the future of 4K.
I hope not, but yeah.
Netflix, their standard package is what they call a standard definition package of 720p. That is the one that's baseline. That is what most people are going to do. Hulu is 1080p, but Netflix is baseline 720. So it might be in widescreen. It might be on an HD TV. So when we're just going to use this as an example because this is a movie that I've owned on every format it's ever been released on. So
Okay.
VHS, UMD, DVD, 4K, and Blu-ray. So to touch on the point of quality that you were saying, the Netflix package that comes standard for like $14 a month, what have you, is what they call their standard definition SD video package at 720p. So it might be in widescreen, it might look clear enough, but what you're getting at that point is a little bit above a DVD. A DVD it can be upscaled to 720p to look about as good as that, with maybe some checkerboarding and artifacting here and there. But my point is, what you're paying monthly for is, quite frankly, looks like shit. And you don't own it either. This is a movie that I've owned on every format it's ever been released. I've owned it on VHS, DVD, UMD, which is the PSP format, 4K, and digitally. Actually, I take that. I don't have it on HD DVD. And that's something that died out real quick. And a lot of people don't know about HD DVD whatsoever.
You know what's funny? Quick tangent.
Yes.
When we were doing the, the wars, there had to have been a name for that. The format wars.
Yeah, the format wars. Yeah.
I betted on HD DVD.
So did I.
Right?
And it was because of the Warner Brothers exclusivity before they realized that. Because they had, and again, it's probably this franchise that they were exclusive on there at the beginning. You have people who have grown up only knowing a life with Snapchat and Twitter and Facebook and what have you. I mean, we had a whole life before MySpace. So a lot of these people, it all gets tied together. Movies have become part of like this ecosystem with music and video games and whatnot. I don't know. I went on a tangent. I didn't like it. We're gonna edit that part out, and then we're gonna have and then we're gonna go to the next part. So, what do you think?
Sure. That sounds good.